The rapid expansion of a sustainable water brand into stadiums, airports, and nationwide 7-Eleven stores represents more than commercial growth. It highlights a structural shift within the bottled water industry. When examined closely, the difference between traditional bottled water companies and this sustainability-driven brand becomes clear across multiple dimensions, including packaging, business strategy, retail partnerships, environmental accountability, consumer perception, and long-term scalability. The first and most visible difference lies in packaging innovation. Traditional bottled water brands have historically depended on single-use plastic (PET) bottles due to their low production cost and lightweight convenience. However, despite recycling initiatives, a significant percentage of plastic bottles end up in landfills or oceans. In contrast, the sustainable water brand prioritizes aluminum bottles or responsibly sourced, paper-based cartons. Aluminum, unlike plastic, can be recycled repeatedly without degrading in quality. This dramatically improves life cycle sustainability and reduces long-term environmental harm. In high-volume environments such as sports stadiums and airports where thousands of units are sold daily, the shift from plastic to aluminum creates measurable waste reduction impact. A second major difference is environmental philosophy. Conventional bottled water brands often treat sustainability as a secondary corporate social responsibility initiative. Their primary focus remains on market share, branding aesthetics, and cost efficiency. The sustainable water brand, however, integrates environmental responsibility into its core business model. Sustainability is not an add-on. It is the foundation of product design, supply chain management, and marketing communication. From sourcing materials with higher recycled content to publishing transparent environmental metrics, the brand positions itself as an environmental solutions company, rather than simply a beverage supplier. Another important difference emerges in large-scale partnerships with stadiums and airports. Traditional water suppliers typically compete based on price negotiations and distribution capacity. Their value proposition is straightforward: reliable supply at competitive cost. In comparison, the sustainable brand offers strategic value beyond the product itself. Stadium operators today face increasing pressure to reduce event waste and meet sustainability benchmarks. Airports worldwide are committing to carbon neutrality goals and improved recycling systems. By aligning with these institutional objectives, the sustainable water brand becomes a partner in achieving environmental targets. Its packaging reduces visible plastic waste, enhances recycling efficiency, and contributes positively to ESG, environmental, social governance reporting for venue operators. The difference in consumer engagement is equally significant. Traditional bottled water is marketed as a basic commodity, emphasizing purity, refreshment, or premium lifestyle appeal. Advertising typically focuses on imagery of mountains, glaciers, or luxury experiences. The sustainable water brand shifts the narrative entirely. It markets impact, responsibility, and conscious consumption. Instead of selling just hydration, it sells participation in a larger environmental movement. Consumers purchasing the product at a stadium or airport are not simply quenching thirst, they are making a values-based decision. This emotional and ethical positioning strengthens brand loyalty and differentiates it from interchangeable plastic alternatives. Retail expansion into 7-Eleven stores further highlights operational differences. Legacy bottled water companies dominate convenience, retail through long-established supply chains and aggressive pricing strategies. Their advantage lies in scale and historical brand recognition. The sustainable water brand, on the other hand, demonstrates that mission-driven products can compete successfully within high-turnover retail environments. Securing placement in thousands of 7-Eleven locations signals logistical maturity, consistent manufacturing output, and strong demand performance. It proves that sustainability-focused products are no longer niche, they are commercially viable at national scale. Financially, the contrast also becomes clear. Traditional bottled water businesses operate on high volume, low margin economics, often engaging in price wars. Sustainable packaging initially carries higher material costs, especially when using aluminum. However, the brand offsets this through premium positioning and perceived added value. Consumers are increasingly willing to pay slightly more for environmentally responsible options, particularly in captive retail environments like airports and sports arenas. Over time, economies of scale reduce production costs, narrowing the gap between sustainable and conventional packaging. Water sourcing practices create another key distinction. Several conventional bottled water companies have faced public scrutiny regarding water extraction and local community impact. The sustainable water brand actively addresses these concerns. Through responsible sourcing commitments, water replenishment initiatives, and third-party audits, transparency becomes a competitive advantage. By openly sharing environmental data and sustainability goals, the brand reduces reputational risk while strengthening stakeholder trust. Brand identity and long-term vision also set the two models apart. Traditional bottled water companies view sustainability as part of brand image management. The sustainable brand views it as a long-term industry transformation strategy. Its presence in high-visibility locations, stadiums packed with thousands of fans, busy airport terminals with global travelers, and everyday neighborhood 7-Eleven stores creates repeated exposure to eco-conscious packaging. This visibility gradually shifts social norms. Aluminum bottles become familiar. Plastic-free hydration becomes expected rather than exceptional. Supply chain resilience further differentiates the approach. Plastic-based production systems are vulnerable to oil price volatility and regulatory restrictions. The sustainable brand invests in diversified aluminum sourcing, recycled material integration, and localized production facilities. This strategic planning enhances stability while reducing carbon emissions associated with long-distance transportation. Ultimately, the core difference lies in mindset. Traditional bottled water brands operate within a linear economy model: produce, sell, dispose. The sustainable water brand embraces a circular economy framework: produce, recycle, reuse, and regenerate. This shift changes not only packaging materials but also corporate governance, investor interest, retail relationships, and consumer behavior. In conclusion, the sustainable water brand's rapid expansion across stadiums, airports, and nationwide 7-Eleven stores represents more than product placement success. It symbolizes a deeper transformation in the beverage industry. By redefining packaging standards, strengthening institutional partnerships, prioritizing environmental transparency, and aligning with modern consumer values, the brand has created a new competitive benchmark. The difference between traditional bottled water and this sustainability-driven innovator is comprehensive, spanning environmental impact, business strategy, financial model, and cultural influence. As environmental awareness continues to rise, this difference may soon determine which brands lead the future of hydration and which are left behind. As the sustainable water brand continues expanding across stadiums, airports, and 7-Eleven locations nationwide, the long-term implications extend far beyond retail distribution. The real difference now lies in momentum. Traditional bottled water companies are reacting to change, while this sustainable brand was built for it. Instead of adapting under pressure, it anticipated shifting consumer values, regulatory trends, and environmental urgency. That proactive positioning gives it structural advantage in an industry entering a new era of accountability. Looking ahead, scalability becomes the defining factor. Many eco-friendly startups struggle when transitioning from niche markets to national distribution due to supply chain limitations or rising production costs. However, this brand has demonstrated that sustainability and scale are not mutually exclusive. By securing long-term manufacturing partnerships, optimizing logistics, and embedding circular economy principles into operations, it has proven that environmentally responsible products can compete at mass market levels without sacrificing growth velocity. Another key difference shaping the future is brand resilience. Traditional bottled water brands rely heavily on habitual purchasing and brand familiarity. If consumer perception shifts strongly against plastic usage, these companies may face declining trust. The sustainable brand, however, benefits directly from increasing environmental awareness. Every new climate report, plastic ban, or corporate sustainability pledge strengthens its value proposition. Instead of being vulnerable to regulatory change, it stands to benefit from it. Institutional adoption will likely accelerate this transformation. As more stadiums commit to zero-waste initiatives and more airports adopt carbon reduction frameworks, procurement policies may increasingly favor recyclable and low-impact packaging. In that scenario, sustainability will no longer be a competitive advantage. It will become a requirement. The sustainable water brand is already positioned on the right side of that transition, giving it first-mover leverage in securing long-term contracts. Consumer psychology also plays a crucial role in the final analysis. When sustainable products become visible in everyday environments, at sporting events, during travel, or in neighborhood convenience stores, they normalize eco-conscious behavior. What once felt like a specialty choice becomes standard expectation. This normalization effect gradually shifts industry benchmarks. Competitors must then adapt not because of marketing pressure, but because of consumer demand. Financial markets further reinforce this trajectory. Investors increasingly evaluate companies based on ESG performance alongside profitability. A water brand capable of demonstrating measurable waste reduction, transparent sourcing, and scalable distribution becomes attractive not only to consumers, but also to capital markets. Access to sustainability-focused funding supports innovation, research, and expansion, creating a reinforcing growth cycle. Ultimately, the difference between this sustainable water brand and traditional bottled water companies represents more than packaging innovation. It reflects a shift in economic philosophy. The old model prioritized convenience and cost efficiency above all else. The new model balances profitability with responsibility. It recognizes that long-term growth depends on environmental stewardship, stakeholder trust, and systemic change. In conclusion, the sustainable water brand's dominance across stadiums, airports, and 7-Eleven nationwide is not accidental. It is strategic, structural, and aligned with global trends. By redefining how water is packaged, marketed, distributed, and perceived, it has positioned itself as a leader in the next chapter of consumer goods. The difference it represents today may very well define the industry standard of tomorrow.